the Shiva's Daramu, creation of sound and universe. The Daramu plays an important role in the Puranas and is one of the main markers in Shiva's symbolic representation. A Daramu is a small, hourglass-shaped drum that is most commonly associated with Lord Shiva in Hindu Dharma. While it is unclear as to when exactly the Daramu originated, the Daramu also makes an appearance in the Tibetan practice of Tantric Buddhism. This hourglass-shaped drum is generally carved from a solid block of wood with skin heads covering each opening. A piece of string with pellets at each end, or a leather cord with knotted ends, is tied to the waist of the Daramu. The player holds the waist of the Daramu in their hand and rotates their wrist to make the ends of the string hit the skin heads, thus producing a reverberating sound. There have been various philosophical and spiritual interpretations of the Daramu in Hinduism. According to the most common interpretation, the Daramu is seen as a representation of yin and yang. Since the shape of the Daramu symbolizes the coming together of male and female procreative energies, with the top portion representing the lingam and the bottom portion representing the yoni. Apart from that, the Daramu has been seen as a representation of the rhythm of the heartbeat. The alternately rising and falling sound of the Daramu is seen as mimicking the human heart, thus symbolizing the energy and sound of life itself. On a larger level, the Daramu also represents the rhythm of the entire universe. According to Hindu beliefs, the universe is constantly being created, preserved and destroyed, and has a cyclical nature. The beats of the Daramu thus symbolize the continuous expansion and collapse of the universe. The legends behind the Daramu. While the interpretations of the Daramu are abundant, it is also the central aspect of several fascinating legends and folk tales. One of the legends associated with the Daramu calls it crucial to the creation of the universe. It is said that before creation, when there was simply a void, the Daramu gave rise to the first nada or sound. Shiva then performed the tando to the beats of the Daramu, thus creating the universe. Some other legends state that the Daramu is responsible for the creation of all music. According to these stories, the sound of the Daramu was passed on to Shiva's son, Ganesha, who is known to be a proficient player of the Pakhavaj. Ganesha then added more rhythm and sound to the Daramu beats, and that's how music was born. According to yet another story, the Daramu was the source of grammar and music in the universe. It is believed that when the universe was created, Saraswati's Veena produced the first nada, that is sound. At that time, Shiva played his Daramu 14 times and this gave birth to grammar and music. There is one more story that links the Daramu to the creation of the rules of grammar. According to this legend, Panini, the Sanskrit grammarian, was a great devotee of Shiva in his youth. Wanting to be blessed with divine knowledge from Shiva, Panini began his penance. It is said that he was so deep into his meditation that he did not break his trance even when Shiva appeared before him. In order to get Panini's attention, Shiva began to play his Daramu. The sound of the Daramu jolted Panini out of his trance, after which Panini bowed to the Lord and received his blessing. The sound of the Daramu, however, was so powerful that it continued to resonate in Panini's ears even after Shiva disappeared. Panini is then believed to have formulated the rules of Sanskrit grammar. Panini's work is known as the Maheshwar Sutrani today and is one of the most significant texts on linguistics. Apart from these legends explaining the role and significance of the Damaru, there is an interesting folktale involving the Damaru which highlights the importance of practice in one's life. According to this tale, a village of farmers once offended Lord Indra, thus leading him to announce that the village would not receive rain for the next 14 years. Upon hearing the pleas of the farmers of the village, Indra then amended his statement and declared that the village would receive rain only when Shiva played his Damaru. However, still wanting to teach the villagers a lesson, Indra went to Shiva and appealed to him not to play the Damaru for the next 14 years, a request Shiva accepted immediately. Seeing all of this play out, the farmers turned hopeless and stopped working on their fields. However, one farmer out of them all continued to plow the field and plant seeds. Upon being questioned by the others, the farmer explained to them all that he did not wish to forget his skills and thus would continue to practice farming for the next 14 years despite the absence of rain. Upon witnessing the scene, Parvati, impressed by the farmer, decided to help the villagers. She went to Shiva and insinuated that he would forget how to play the Damaru if he did not practice for 14 long years. Shiva, now worried about losing his art, immediately began to practice his Damaru, causing Indra to adhere to his promise and restore rains upon the village.